Alive Week 4. Hope everybody had an awesome Thursday. Guys, this is the next to last episode till summer small groups. And for a little bit more on summer small groups and how to get registered, we're going to bring in Mr. Corey Willis.
Hey, everybody. So, yeah, summer small groups kicking off. I believe right now the small group registration.
Yes.
Not small group sign up, but to register the small groups you want to lead, that is open now. And so you can go out to the website, find out all kinds of information on that, thevinetroy.com. If you've got any follow-up questions, of course, you can always reach out to church@thevinetroy.com via email, and we can get you all the answers that you need. So yes, that is coming up right around the corner. I believe that the small group signups might go live this weekend.
I can't wait. Can't wait.
So yeah, I believe that's coming up this weekend. Also, speaking of this weekend, continuing, I believe, on the sermon series.
The God You Need to Know.
Yes, that's it.
Absolutely fire series.
So
be there Sunday. It's
Pastor
amazing.
Lewis back in town.
Back in.
Exciting times.
Good deal. Well, without further ado, shall we ask these people some questions?
Let's ask them some questions.
Y'all
Here we
know
go.
the deal.
Question
10 questions. Let's
number
go.
1. Let's see if things will work or if I've got to step off screen again. I'll be back.
Okay. Technical difficulties. It's okay. All right, question number 1. What type of insects did John the Baptist eat in the desert? If you had to pick one, which one would you pick? Like, just, he was in the desert.
Think about deserts. Caterpillars seem to like leaves.
Yeah. So that wouldn't be a desert
But,
kind of thing.
locusts do too.
But ants.
So that's kind of odd.
Ants. There's a lot of sand.
Ants, crickets.
They build huge houses.
Crickets and locusts are actually fairly similar insects.
Which
but
one is it?
The correct answer
is
locusts.
A.
Yes.
Ooh, congratulations if you got it.
It's kind of an easy one. Should be
not too bad.
If you've read the Bible stories, right?
Just a few Bible stories, you should know this one. All right,
okay,
take it
here
away.
we go. Next question. How many people did Jesus feed with 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish?
I don't know.
Some people here in the South, it's maybe
I know,
one.
Oh yeah, that would feed one person. one coworker, and that's it. We love to eat.
So let's see.
Let's go through this.
26?
No, not 26. No.
What about 4,000? That's a lot.
That's a lot of people. It's a lot of people.
But it's Jesus.
It is Jesus. He's breaking bread.
400 would sound like a pretty good miracle, right?
I would say 400. Yeah.
Of course, these 5,000.
But what's the correct answer?
The correct answer. Survey says. The Bible says 5,000.
D. 5,000 men.
5,000.
And you want to go on and explain a little bit about
so
that?
we it says men, and it's not because we are all about men and not women. But in the biblical era,
right, when
they would record the size of crowds, they would record the men. So realistically, it was probably closer to 14,000, 15,000 people because of women and children that would not have been counted in the official numbers. Just because of the culture at the time. It is what it was,
A census would have been nice right then.
Yeah. So, okay, here we go. Next question.
After Jesus was arrested, which apostle disowned him 3 times? Was it A, Judas, B, Peter, C, Matthew, or D, Andrew? Ooh, not once, but 3 times.
Yeah, 3 times.
3 times.
Of course, it's a famous story.
It is.
But do we get do we pair it with the right person?
Oh,
of course, we know Judas kind of disowned.
And I'm thinking there might be some people answering that in the chat, and now they're trying to delete the comment because they're like, I don't know if it was Judas.
we know Judas betrayed him.
He did.
But he's
who
not the one
disowned him 3 times. Though.
Who disowned him 3 times?
Yes.
To a servant girl at that.
Oh. All right, y'all got them in, and the correct answer was Peter. Whoa, curveball.
Yeah.
About a lot of people, I would have thought Judas, but no, it's Peter.
Yeah.
He did it.
Okay, here we go. Next question. Paul was shipwrecked on what island?
Oh.
It's an interesting one.
It is.
And I'll be honest, when I first looked at this question, I thought, my brain. Well, no, I didn't think that. I've got the context of Galapagos.
Yeah.
But my brain did go to Patmos.
Mm-hmm.
Because that is an island referenced in the New Testament that somebody was isolated on.
Yes. So you're saying that was a good answer?
So that would have been, a good guess.
Yeah.
It would have been an incorrect guess because that's where John was.
Yes.
When he wrote the book of Revelation, was on the island of Patmos. So it's not that. Of course, Nineveh, if you know your Old Testament Bible stories, that is where Jonah was supposed to go and ran the other way. And eventually God said, no, I'm going to put you in a fish and take you where you're supposed to go because you've got a purpose and a destiny. Wouldn't it be easier, I mean, frankly, wouldn't it be easier sometimes if God said, you know what, I'm just going to put you in a fish and take you where you got to go.
See ya.
That's part of the challenge of the Christian life is kind of figuring out that path.
Right.
But you know what, that's part of what Growth Track's for.
That is.
Is to help you find your purpose and get plugged in to achieve that purpose.
Yes.
So, not Nineveh, Galapagos, well, that's where somebody else went to.
So we
Not in the Bible.
have a process of elimination.
Process of elimination. The correct answer is A, Malta.
Awesome. All right. Next question.
Next question. Here we go.
To what city was Saul traveling when he encountered a great and blinding light? Was it A, Jerusalem, B, Jericho, C, Damascus, or D, Ephesus? Blinded by the light.
Now,
Where
which
was he
Saul
going?
are we talking about?
Oh.
Because there are two famous Sauls in the scripture, one in the Old Testament, one in the New Testament.
Well, it would be the skelly Saul, right?
Yeah, so this would be the New Testament Saul, not King Saul, who David replaced.
Correct.
This would be the New Testament Saul, who after this experience got renamed him
Yep.
to the name that we more commonly know him by, which is Paul. Another one of these very minor name changes that God does.
Saul, Paul.
Abraham, Sarai, Sarah.
Yeah, just
Saul, Paul. So yeah, these little changes there. But he was headed somewhere to do something bad in God's eyes, and God stopped him, blinded them on the road to Damascus.
See, Damascus.
On the road to Damascus.
There you go.
He was coming from Jerusalem, I believe.
Yeah.
Not Jericho. That was Joshua that fought the Battle of Jericho. Joshua, the Battle of Jericho. Not Ephesus. It was Damascus.
Damascus.
So
Good job if you got it.
okay.
Next question.
Next question. Is it mine or yours?
It's your turn. Your turn.
Mine? I kind of took over on the answer.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
You know, just kind of do what we do, right? What tribe is Paul from? So I feel like we need to talk a little bit about tribe before we can go over the answers.
Yeah, okay.
You know, the nation of Israel had 12 tribes. And Paul was from one of those tribes. He was basically a Pharisee before his conversion. And so he was very proud of who he was as a Jewish leader. And he was from one of the 12 tribes. And so we've got 4 options here, 4 of the 12. So we've already narrowed it down. We didn't give you all 12.
Right.
Judah, Benjamin, Asher, or Gad. Now I'll tell you, if people are taking a stab at it, I'm going to say that they're probably going to eliminate Asher and Gad fairly quickly because those aren't really common.
Gone 50-50.
I mean, it's not one that we really, when we think about the tribes of Israel, those are some that a lot of people just don't really think about, right?
Yeah.
So it's probably Judah or Benjamin, and Judah is known much more.
Tribe of Judah.
Yeah,
Everybody
line of the tribe of Judah, right?
So,
I'm guessing a lot of people probably guessed Judah, but they would be wrong. And the correct answer is B, Benjamin.
Ooh, all about the Benjamin tribe.
Okay, here we go. Next question is,
according to the Beatitudes, who will be filled? Is it A, those who are mourning, B, those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, C, those who show mercy, or D, those whose hearts are clean? The Beatitudes.
So the Beatitudes, where's that out?
Sermon on the Mount.
Sermon on the Mount, Matthew chapter 5, 6, and 7.
Yes.
Some of the greatest passages of the 4 Gospels, in my personal opinion.
Right.
I'd say those have a very close, for myself, those 3 chapters have a very close second position to John chapter 17, where Jesus actually prays for each and every one of us.
Right.
But it is one of the earliest passages that I really dwelt on myself. But it talks really about kind of all of these types of scenarios in here. But it does say specifically that one of these will be filled, and that is
be those who hunger and thirst for righteousness. I'm trying to time it up. We got it. We got to go. Yes, those who hunger and thirst for righteousness.
So that is the answer there. Next question. Here we go. Which gospel is written by a doctor?
You know, if they were here last week, I believe we talked about this.
I believe we did. Yes. So of course, we've got the four Gospels: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John.
Yes.
And you can kind of think through this because Matthew was
a doctor.
No. Matthew was not a doctor. Matthew was a tax collector.
Yeah.
Mark
was a doctor. No, he wasn't a doctor.
Mark was a fisherman. John was the son of Zebedee, who was also a fisherman. Luke was a medical doctor.
Boom!
And that's part of why if you read the Gospel of Luke and then his second book, which was the book of Acts, they tend to be extremely detailed in their accounts.
Very detailed.
Because you're talking about somebody who was a medical doctor who had to be very detailed in what he did.
Yes.
So when you look at the historical accuracy of the book of Acts, it's extremely accurate. Same with Luke, but he focused very much on the details. Details.
Love it.
Okay.
All right.
So that's also where we see, Luke is like the big birth of Jesus story.
Yeah.
Right. That's recorded in Luke, and a lot of details there that are not recorded in some of the other Gospels. So, okay, enough about that. Let's go on. Next question.
What is the first book of the New Testament? Is it A, Genesis, B, Acts, C, Roman, or D, Matthew? Woo! The first book of the New Testament.
So I'd imagine at least the ones that grew up in church.
Yeah.
Because not all of us grew up in church.
Right.
But those who grew up in church and had to kind of go through Sunday school and memorizing, this should be a pretty easy one. But let's be honest, not all of us grew up in church, and we may not necessarily know where those delineations are.
Exactly.
And that's where I was when I started going to church.
Right.
I didn't grow up in church, and so that would have been me early on. But when you look at these, 3 of the 4 are out of the New Testament.
Right.
The book of Genesis is first, but not in the New Testament.
So, not A.
Not A. That's first in the Old Testament, first book of the Bible, yes.
In the beginning.
So we're down to 3. Acts, Romans, and Matthew. Awkward pause.
Do you know? Okay.
Correct answer. Here we go.
D, Matthew is the correct answer.
That's it.
First book, New Testament, Matthew.
Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, then we go into Acts, and then we go on from there.
Got it.
Okay.
Great.
Here we go. We got any more? I've lost track of where we're at.
This is
it.
Is
this it? This is the last question?
This is the last question.
Okay,
Take
we
it
think
away.
this is the last question. What is John the Baptizer's or John the Baptist's father's name?
A lot of Z's.
Yes. That's why you gave me this, so you don't have to pronounce
it.
it.
I did, because I'm good with Hebrew names.
Zacharias, A. B. Zephaniah. C. Zacchaeus. Or D. Zibiah.
Woo! And did we?
Let me give him a hint. It starts with the letter Z.
Yes. Did we say this already?
I don't know if I've gone over this.
No. Maybe not. So
yeah, I don't think that we have. But let's talk about some here.
Okay.
Let's take
Go for it.
Zacchaeus.
Okay.
Zacchaeus
was
a
wee
little
man.
Completely impromptu.
We got it.
This is completely unscripted, everybody, by the way.
Totally.
Completely unscripted.
We have no clue.
But Zacchaeus wanted to see Jesus, and so to see him, he climbed up in a sycamore tree, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
So he climbed up in the sycamore tree so he could see Jesus, and Jesus walked up and he looked up the tree and said, "Zacchaeus, come down. I'm eating at your house tonight."
Man, no pressure.
I mean, just talk about inviting yourself in.
Like,
right?
we need a week before anybody comes over.
So yeah, Zacchaeus was not John the Baptist's father. Zibia, I'm not sure who that is.
Yep, okay.
I probably should if it's in the Bible or I don't know if you made it up. But I don't know who that is, so it's not that. Zephaniah was another character that I can't remember the context of. But the correct answer is Zacharias.
Boom.
Who, interesting story, like the angel was like, hey, guess what? You're gonna have a son and you're gonna name him John. And he doubted, and so he couldn't talk. Like,
boom.
God took his voice away. Until John was born, and all of the relatives were arguing over what they were gonna name him, and Zacharias called for a tablet and wrote, his name is John, and boom, his voice came back. It's amazing what obedience to God will do.
Wow. Well, that was a great Vine trivia.
That's it.
I love it.
Now, we'll be back next week.
One more week. This is the grand finale next week. Be prepared.
Do we want to do more than 10 questions next week?
We could do something special that I'm
We'll
thinking
figure out
of.
something. We'll figure out something
cooked up.
to do next week. Maybe we'll have a special guest.
I'm thinking a couple.
We'll see.
We shall see.
We'll see. We'll see what we'll do with it.
So guys, until next week, enjoy the weekend.
And hey, let us know in the comments if you've been enjoying live trivia with Vine Church here on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Vimeo, all over the places where we're at. But let us know if you're enjoying it. We're having fun.
Well, it's been great. Guys, see you in church on Sunday.
Have a good one.
See ya.